town's public comment rules and will abide by them. Okay, first speaker is Amanda Falkenberry.
Good evening, Council. I'm here to announce a political candidate forum will be held on September 30th in the Shirley Howell room downstairs between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. It is open to the public. The candidates will have 5 minutes to do an introduction. Then there'll be a question and answer session. Questions will be accepted from the candidates and the public. We encourage all candidates to attend. Video cameras are welcome. I have an information sheet for all of the candidates. If you did not receive one, please see me or my husband. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you. Heather Klaus.
Good evening. First, I just want to say thank you. I know I have to address you all, but I really appreciate taking your time on a downtown plan. So just want to say thank you. I got to visit with a lot of the downtown core businesses and residents over the last week and a half, and there's some concerns, and I encourage them to attend the meetings. So I really appreciate that very much. Second, I won't spend a lot of time on it. I am running for town council on the New Trail. I am actually very excited. My husband thinks I'm crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway. I do want to make a public announcement that I would really appreciate if any running candidates, any new running candidates, please be mindful of what you put out there. There are some very slanderous information and defamation of character, and I have notified my attorney. So I am asking that certain material be taken down. I think they know who they are, and we don't need to attack other candidates during their running. I'm going to run a clean race, so I just want to put that out there. We all need to work together. You never know, we may be working with each other and sitting in that same space as everyone else. The other thing I want to address as well, which it kind of puts that same perspective in place, is you know, I have taken a lot of time. I work in the community. I work with a lot of students, parents, teachers, not only in education, but in mental health. I have worked with DSS here in our community. I have worked with tons of students, and I work with students and families now when it comes to working with kids and trauma. And I just want to put it out there that we need to be mindful of how we speak to people, what we say to people, and being respectful. And whether we're in government, non-government, but we're in a community, I'm a community leader. I want to thank the town manager as well for being very responsive to me and listening and doing the due diligence. I know sometimes it brings high intensity and frustration in this business, but I think that we can come to like adequate resolutions. The other quick thing I wanted to address is just some of the political signs and campaigning. Thank you for doing the due diligence and reaching out. I do want to, however, put out there that each candidate needs an adequate same time running race. Whereas other candidates have signs already out there on private property, and by law, state law, it's private property. You know, signs are signs. I understand there's an ordinance, but I think that each candidate needs to have the same exact stance and race as everyone else. So I just want to put that in motion. The second thing I just want to continue when we go to talk about later down in this agenda, Todd Barber, is just be mindful that this is another fellow candidate that you work with. And thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Larry Dukes.
Good evening. My name is Larry Dukes. My information is on file. Mr. Town Manager, I never knew how hard your job really is in keeping town staff on point, as well as keeping town council and everyone else happy. So my comments to you, compliments to you, sir. I come before you tonight as a 17-year resident of Indian Trail. I come before you tonight as the Indian Trail Planning Board Chairman. I have seen the master plan. My committee, and I have a fellow member here in the audience, we saw that plan for 2 different meetings. I am not an expert on it. It is a very large plan. So there is a lot of information that has started, has been revised, and is moving forward, as we just heard from the town manager. I also come before you tonight as a candidate for the Indian Trail Town Council in November. I will highlight my qualifications at a later meeting. Really the main purpose tonight is the motion for censure that was made at the last meeting. One councilman brought that forward. It was then initiated and approved by 2 others. I guess my main thing, I have lots of information here and I'm going to be beat before I'll be able to finish it. I've worked in corporate America for quite a while. I understand that corporate America is very different than town management in every way. But there is something that is actually very much the same, and it was actually pointed out in the original allegations or the letter that came out from it, and that is that we need to have accuracy and truth in all matters. And I agree with that. Whether it's in corporate America, town management, our churches, our schools, our neighborhoods, it doesn't matter. So I come before you and asking for truth and accuracy of these allegations, that they be made totally true and clear to everyone, not just in comments or interpretations. So I would ask for this motion to be disapproved to show that transparency, truth, and accuracy do mean something in Indian Trail Town Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. Michael Falkenberry.
Good evening. Yeah, I attended this special meeting a week or 2 ago, and in regards to item 9C, morality was brought up in a special meeting, and rightfully so. Each one of us have different morals. However, I would think "thou shalt not bear false witness" should apply to everyone. There was a misquote, and the council member did put on the Facebook page and an attempt to make a defense, and it was exactly what the council member had read into the record. He omitted part of that quote of what the planning director did say. Freedom of speech is fine. We don't have a social media policy, as it was brought up, but we do have social media guidelines. Policies, you tell somebody to do something. Guidelines, you ask. Hopefully, you do the same with both. Use good judgment. I never got a response from an email I sent to a particular council member addressing the situation, pointing out the point that he did not quote the planning director correctly. Never got a response. He does owe the planning director a public apology. That should be done tonight on the record. Also, I addressed the social media post during a council meeting back in 2016. I encourage you to look at public comments, see what I had to say. Freedom of speech does have consequences. As I've referred to before, you don't wear a Tar Heel shirt to a Duke basketball game and talk trash about Duke. I wouldn't recommend it. Thank you very much.
Dan Schellenkamp.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Dan Schellenkamp. I'm running for Mayor of Indian Trail. Please view my campaign Facebook page, Elect Dan Schellenkamp. I am a 29-year resident of Indian Trail. My wife Amy and I have been married for 36 years. She was born and raised in what is now Indian Trail. We raised our family here. We attend Shiloh Baptist Church. I am retired after a very rewarding career in computer software development, software technical sales, and eventually as a software product manager. The last 25 consecutive years of my career were with IBM. My last several roles with IBM initially included up to 50% domestic travel and later up to 75% domestic and international travel. Worldwide, I met with customers, prospects, and IBMers. My various roles required technical, sales, and marketing, speaking engagements and presentations in front of large audiences, oftentimes multinational audiences. IBM trusted me to negotiate multi-million-dollar, multi-year contracts. When there were customer issues with the software that I managed, I was on a plane and I went face-to-face to meet with those customers. Some of the world's largest banking, insurance, manufacturing, and financial companies. I understand budgets, I understand financial statements, I understand technology. IBM put their trust in me. Many of IBM's largest customers put their trust in me. In 2005, Indian Trail voters put their trust in me. I had the great privilege to serve 4 years as an Indian Trail councilman. The council I served on made many much-needed positive strides for the betterment of Indian Trail and our citizens. That council helped build the foundation for so much of what we enjoy today in Indian Trail. Please view my campaign Facebook page, Elect Dan Schellenkamp, for a list of many of those accomplishments. I am experienced as an elected official. I am experienced as a business professional. I am a true fiscal conservative. I will research the town's business into the late hours of the night. I will ask the questions that citizens would ask. I will treat all taxpayers' money with great respect. I will run council meetings in a professional and open manner. I will never compromise when it comes to public safety. I do not take campaign money from any special interests. Please get out and vote on November 7th. Please vote for me as your next mayor of Indian Trail. Thank you.
Thank you. Clarence also votes.
Mayor and Council, thank you for your time. I had a speech prepared, but I'm going to speak from the heart. There's a lot going on in Indian Trail. There's some things going on that I've never seen in my life, and it's sad. I too am a candidate for town council, but we'll get to that later. Even though I'm a candidate, I want to speak on something I've spoken on before. There are a lot of organizations that need help out here. And some of those organizations are Union West Rotary, Eagle Rock Camp, Cameron's House of Hope, House of Pearls, Lions Club, USO, Hometown Heroes, Council on Aging, Safer Communities, Union County Back to School, BASH, the VFW, Food for Families, Boy Scout Troops, Girls on the Run, Second Harvest, the Salvation Army, Union Diversified Industries, Cameron's Common Heart, and Turning Point. Again, speaking from the heart. If you are a faith-based person, call up an organization, pray for them, see if they need prayer. If you want to donate, call them up, donate. If you want to volunteer, volunteer. So even though this election is going on, these organizations still can use help. But now, let's go to my bid for a candidate as town council. When I started running town council, I spoke to someone, I am part of Union West Rotary, and he said, you know what, Clarence, we have the four-way test. As long as you use this, you'll be just fine. What is the four-way test? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? That is something that we should take and we should bring to this office. Now, I'm on the Board of Adjustments of Indian Trail, and when you're sworn in, let's see, you repeat, I state your name, do solemnly affirm that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States, the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as a member of Indian Trail. You state that office, so help me God. The word Constitution is in there. And do we know what the Constitution says? Do we study the Constitution? Now, I'm not a scholar, but I've sat under many people that have educated me in the Constitution. The preamble of the Constitution states, "We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our prosperity to." Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Benita Stone.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm short, so get that down. Anyway, I don't speak publicly very often, and I wanted to make sure that I read through the, what I could find on the website under Downtown Master Plan to get a better idea of what was going on, so that I could be an informed citizen. I've lived in the town for 45 years in my same house. I raised my children here. I moved here like most everybody else I did, everybody else that I know did, because we wanted to get away from the big city. And you can probably figure out right there where I'm going. Because every time I talk to somebody, it's, why are they doing this here? But anyway, so I'm reading the master plan. A lot of this is the quotes. And the first part was just paragraphs that said, housing should include options for people in all stages of life. I have, over a year ago, I wrote a letter to the town council because I couldn't be here at the meetings, and I said something about the developments that were being approved in the area, same size house as mine, and the average price was not the 180, which is what my house was worth then. They were coming out as 350,000 and up. And I was going like, what the heck? And I wrote in the note to y'all that, why are you doing this? You're making it impossible for my own children to be able to afford to live here. Okay, so this is, I read into, it's called, what is it? Principle 1, commercial and housing diversification that caters to various income ranges. My question is, where is there any plan for affordable housing? There isn't any. I've read it. It's principle 2 is, it's just obvious from reading that the plan is to produce, the plan we see produced, excuse me, caters to attract the rich and force the current residents who can no longer afford housing and taxes out of this area. Where are, and this is another quote from the principles, where are the attractive residential opportunities so that children and grandchildren of residents can stay here to enjoy the parks and everything in our location and our town? We won't be able to afford to be here to do it because we can't afford homes. Principle 3 talks about upgrading roads, and my question is when? All the
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your public comments tonight. Mayor Pro Tem Barber, Council Members McIntyre and Gay. Mr. McIntyre, do you want to?
Yes, sir. I'd like to address the council and everybody in the audience. I don't come to you tonight relishing this opportunity. This is something that took a lot of deliberation and thought. But I, as an elected official, I'm here, one of 6 people elected up here. And we have to sometimes speak and make decisions that is in the public interest. There's no fun or joy. This is something that weighed heavily on me, but if I were to sit here and tell you that I can come here and make this easy, I would be lying. In this great country of ours, there are rules, there are regulations. Freedom of speech is something that is protected, but that doesn't necessarily mean we get to say what we want. With that being said, sir, I want to just bring back to the public's attention, last time we met, this information was not up on the screen. But I want to bring back this item up just so that way the public has that. I think since the last time we met, there's been, the information has been made public for anyone who wanted to receive it. I think you have to go in and ask the manager via email or phone call or in person, and he did provide it to you. This comes from a Facebook post that was made. And the thing is, as representatives, as we are charged with that duty of being able to have deliberations, have discussion, and come back to the public with information that is accurate. We are agents of the town. Whether we are elected or the people working within the building, we are agents of the town. And therefore, we are responsible to the public. They're the ones who put us in office. We give the manager the platform to go and the staff to go ahead and execute some of these things. So there's been some discussion, and it came up tonight again, in that we have a downtown master plan that we're looking at. The town council as a whole voted for it unanimously to go ahead and put that plan in motion. The plan has been discussed at the planning board meeting, and at that particular meeting, that's where this item comes up. And to see somebody who is I guess you want to say, a colleague, putting up a post that is not accurate at all. And then the comments that followed, including ones asking for the termination of employment of a particular employee because of an inaccurate post, so therefore the public didn't have that correct information, right? And I'll read it again, so just to make sure that I'm accurate in what I talked about. I think somebody this evening talked about accuracy, transparency, and truth. So here we go. Churches are not part of the environment we want. IT planner explaining proposed downtown master plan at the meeting. That was a statement put on Facebook by Mr. Barber. It is shown in document 2 there in black and white. It's not something that I picked up or I translated. It was there. I took my time and I listened to the entire planning board meeting. I actually watched it and I listened and I rewound certain parts of it just to make sure that I got it correct. But I got to the 2:17 to 18 minute mark of that 2 hour 17 minute, 2 hour 18 minute mark of that meeting. And it says, you eliminate, this is Randy Diesel, town planner speaking. And she's directing that statement to the planning board, saying that you eliminate those uses that consume a lot of land or consume a lot of dead space. I know churches, eliminating that use might be a hard choice, and this board can say no. She's talking about the planning board. We want to put churches back as a permitted use, and we will put the capital P in the chart for you. However, Sunday morning and Wednesday night, that creates a lot of dead space for the environment that you are trying to create and that we said we wanted. This is the exact statement. So when I read this, when I listened to what she said and I saw what was posted on Facebook, it's totally inaccurate. It's not a slip of the tongue. It's not a, I didn't hear it well. It was deliberate. And I know that there's an election season and this may be something to generate votes. But that being said, I don't mind if somebody disagrees with the plan and what comes in the plan. But you cannot put that out there. Because the thing is, the trauma that it creates, the hostile work environment that it creates, that something like that creates, where you're sitting at home and somebody is out there calling for your job with inaccurate information. That's not necessary. The staff on their own, the planning board staff, the planning department staff, cannot go out and create a plan on their own. They have to be instructed, and they have to be instructed by this board. This very town council has to give them the instructions so they can go ahead and do this, right? The post was taken down. If the post was supposed to be so correct and there was nothing wrong with it, why was it removed? It was removed because there was pushback from quite a few citizens basically challenging this individual on that particular post, right? A subsequent post was put up. And again, the same tone, not clearly articulating what was said. I am here, I am a responsible individual, I'm here on the council. When it comes to deliberating matters that come before the council, I don't do it on Facebook. That's not the platform, that's not what the people elected me to do. I either meet with my colleagues and I discuss things with them, or I ask them, can I get their support? If they disagree, that's fine. But I come into this meeting room here, and that's where I will give my opinion on what I think is right or wrong. Take a vote, and then I move on. But when we look at the second post and we see eliminating churches is a hard choice, right? Sunday morning, Wednesday night, create dead space. The thing is, it's not accurate. And I don't mind the public get that information. It's fine to give the public information. I think this council in particular has given the public a lot of information. Since I've been here, this year is the first year I think we voted to open up closed session minutes to the public. So this group, I think, this board, I think, is very big on making sure the public has all the relevant information. So therefore, any decision that we make, people are not in the dark. But when I have my colleagues doing that, it's not right, you know. And then we go to emails that is being sent. You know, I write the manager, okay, take my time, I'll write you. And I'm reading an email that came to the manager where it says, I've watched part of the planning board meeting. Here's what I heard a staff member say. Churches are not part of the environment we want. And it goes on to explain, churches are Sunday and Wednesday dead spaces that the plan eliminates. Clearly, this person knows little about the churches as they have schools, daycare, after school, Meals on Wheels, senior women, men, youth programs. What an ignorant statement. That right there is what really, you know, it kind of did it for me because I felt like, you don't say that. You have no idea what was being said. First of all, the quote was totally inaccurate. But then we look at statements like that in an email to the town manager talking about something that was posted. The thing is, this individual had that information totally wrong. A phone call could have cleared it up, but it wasn't. We had the opportunity last meeting for my colleague to look at what was said, have the information, and all that was really needed was a mea culpa. I'm sorry, I misheard, or I misread, or it's an error, it was the heat of the moment, sorry, it won't happen again. But not once this was talked about. And I'm not talking about anybody not being able to speak. People should speak. They should have a chance to speak. But when you speak, have facts. Be accurate, be correct. Because things like that can cause people stress, it create a hostile work environment, could possibly cost them their jobs. This is not necessary. These staff that we've sat here all the time and talked about how hard they work, how valuable they are, the work that they do for us to make us sit here and look like we actually know what we're doing. We've said that. And on the flip of a dime, we could just go ahead and turn that around and see these things. I can't sit here and say nothing. I have to speak up, and that's what I'm doing right now. Back to you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, when we are elected, we go to a course in ethics, and we're taught that we should be ethical in everything we do in our position with this town. When we have somebody who puts things out there that aren't true and they resist changing unless somebody calls them out, and this individual's been called out several times for things that were not true. I don't know if he wants to instigate things. I'm not sure what goes through his mind when he does these things. But the truth is right here with this town council when this comes to us. This has been discussed and should have never been put out on social media by a town council person until we actually had it here before us. We can, I think this individual, I feel sure he voted for this study from this company that did the study and made recommendations. Those are recommendations. So it is inappropriate for somebody to make comments about recommendations from an outside firm and throw gas on the fire, upset everybody in town, and then when they put things up that aren't true, like he put up 2 pictures of a church, then he took down a picture of one of the churches, then he put up another picture of a different church, and every time he got called out, he took it down or he changed it. That is not ethical, and there's no reason in the world that this should have been blown up to the point that it has been.
Any other comments? Mr. Amber?
I've said this a couple times, just because someone says something doesn't make it true, right? These guys are malicious. I don't trust them. These things were said, I read them, I saw them. I don't know what they're saying. And to make fun of a man that has hearing aids in a censured meeting a week or so ago. That's asinine. I don't trust these guys. I don't understand it, why they made this deal.
Mr. Gay?
Hearing aids have nothing to do with social media. They have nothing to do with social media. Typed words into a computer has nothing to do with hearing aids.
Okay. Anybody else? Crystal, you got anything to say?
I mean, I guess the only thing I'm really gonna say is I've read through everything, I've watched the meeting. Whenever you say things like full quotes, but then leave out parts of it, you know, it does lead people to believe something that wasn't said. And so, you know, I hope this was done out of mistake more than malicious, but I do feel like it does lead our citizens to believe something that isn't true. So, you know, unfortunately, we're sitting here today talking about this for that reason. I think truth and transparency is very important. I agree with Tom whenever he said that. I think our citizens have the right to know what's going on. I think we put it out there every day. All of our meetings are recorded. Everything is out there. All the information is there. I think a lot of people are busy and don't have time, and so they do resort to talking to us or going to social media. So even more so than ever, I think it's very important for us to only say things that are factual. So, you know, I've again reviewed this and read over it, and you know, that's kind of where my mind is right now.
Mr. Barber, did you want to?
Do I get to talk? So, first off, I'd like to apologize for the special meeting. I got a little emotional, and it's not my style. And there's a lot of mudslinging up here, and I spent years ignoring it, the comments and all that. You know, they speak of opportunity. I got the documents after the special meeting. They didn't want me to have a defense. I got the agenda came out and the resolution wasn't in it. It was emailed after. So I don't think they wanted me to prepare for this day either. But I did put together an answer. But for what small opportunity I do get the answer, I appreciate it. The opportunity to answer this politically motivated action. I noticed the resolution I received only addresses a couple of the ethics canons that were brought up at the special meeting. I assume I'm not going to give an apology for all the other alleged allegations that I was falsely accused of. There was more than this. The resolution centers on two allegations. One, that I posted inappropriate, illegal, or confidential postings. I posted nothing confidential, illegal, or inappropriate nature. There's been nothing presented to substantiate that allegation. The other is that I posted false or misleading material due to a Facebook posting I made that detailed a staff member explaining that churches are not part of the environment we want in the new downtown master plan. My post was a factual representation of the proposed downtown master plan core district. I appropriately sent emails to the town manager expressing concerns about this statement and other matters expressed by citizens at the August planning board meeting. The town manager confirmed in his email reply of August 22nd, referencing churches are still permitted in 6 of the town's 10 zoning districts, and explaining how storefront churches don't fulfill the use of a downtown, which would be a hub of daily commercial or other activity. The town manager even responded to my reference of the town staff's member's remark referring to churches as dead space. I stated in the email I thought this was an ignorant statement. I never called anyone ignorant. The town manager never stated or hinted that what I called his attention to about the staff member's comments saying was false. I emailed the town attorney in reference to the Federal Religious Land Use and Institutional Persons Act that protects churches from discrimination in zoning. I did this because the city of Monroe was sued in recent years over churches not being a permitted use in zoning districts. The town attorney confirmed the planning department is aware of the law. The town attorney in her email stated, I am confident that the town can successfully defend a lawsuit based on RLUIPA, which is the Religious Land Use and Institutional Persons Act, if the downtown plan is adopted as is, which doesn't have churches as a religious assembly as a permitted use. She even said the other option, which is you're well aware of, is to add churches back in as a permitted use. The staff clearly put together a downtown master plan that does not permit religious assembly in the core. And the staff member was letting the planning board know in August that churches are not what's wanted. People in attendance heard the same as I, some very prominent citizens of Indian Trail. I admit now and admitted earlier, I did not get the quote perfect. I may have missed some ellipses of a fragmented quote. I don't hear well, and I'm sure many people with hearing loss didn't appreciate a council member's comment about hearing aids comments last meeting. I'm not sure how I missed the quote a little bit. It certainly was not intentional. The town manager recently put out some incorrect information on campaign sign placements. In response, the town attorney said, governments are run by humans, and errors and mistakes unfortunately happen. I did not intentionally or maliciously mess up the quote, but the factual nature of what was said is clearly accurate. I added and retracted the posted quote and posted the full YouTube transcript. The public reaction is consistent and the same as with the previous post. The kangaroo court ignores standards of law of justice. How can the town manager in email on August 28 state the social media and communications document is part of the orientation manual that was created a guideline for using social media? And he said it is not a formal policy that was adopted or passed by council. It was voted on, I'm sorry. Yet the proposed resolution states it as a policy. It is not even listed as a policy in the manual that's referred to. It even seems I'm being judged like I was writing a legal brief. The post was on a media outlet, not for a court of law. And I don't think the court would find that I intentionally misquoted or changed the meaning of what was said. I think the message that our downtown plan in the core district does not permit religious assembly is crystal clear. And that's the message the public received from me and at the planning board meeting. The disingenuous nature of this intent to censure has been clearly pointed out. I do know the vast majority of people I've heard from do not agree with the proposed downtown plan that lists religious assembly as a non-permitted use in the core district and is restricted to growth to existing grandfathered churches. I did not mislead the public. I informed the public of a proposed plan that I feel is not consistent with the values of the majority of our citizens. I appreciate the tremendous support I have received due to this political attack. Thank you, and God bless you.
Any other comments? You got about a minute, and then let's move on.
First of all, apparently Mr. Barber did know about it all because he came with multiple pages to defend himself. Obviously he got it somehow. Second of all, with all this misinformation that was out there, in a 2-week period of time, the legal fees for Mr. Barber calling about all this gossip that has been spread over the internet was over $5,000 to the town attorney. It's ridiculous the amount of everything that happens. He goes to the town attorney. It's been over, I'm sure, over $10,000 of your money that's been spent on the town attorney over just nonsensical stuff. Even when they made a mistake over the signs, the town attorney had to write a half a page to him over the signs. It's ridiculous to spread this stuff, upset everybody in the town, go to the attorney.
Any other comments? Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Amber.
He was able to compile his answers by getting a resolution Friday afternoon after the agenda was made. So of course he had time to make it up. But before the September 8th meeting, he had no knowledge of what they were attacking us for. It's unfair. I'd like to know how much we paid Karen to make up this resolution.
I just have a suggestion. Maybe after all this is over, we should go through and relook at our policies and maybe rework a little bit so that we have it a little bit more black and white.
Sure.
Maybe a good suggestion. Is everybody finished with their comments? I've just a comment or two. I hate that we're in this situation. I hate that we're up here. I don't like it. We had a downtown master plan that the council voted on unanimously. spent $90,000 on a plan to have a company come in and listen to the public and come up with a plan that they could bring to the council and that the council could work with them on the plan. To my knowledge, I don't think any of the council members have spoken with the planning department on the plan to make the plan better. In all honesty, the plan, I think in 2006, has more density than the plan has in this plan. And instead of working with the planning department, you know, we hear that the VFW is going to be gone. There's no more VFW. Well, that wasn't true. Just wasn't in the picture. Heard the drugstore was going to be gone. Instead of coming back and working with the planning department over and asking questions, nobody asked questions. They ran out to the public and told them there would be 10-story buildings downtown. There's no 10-story buildings going downtown because we worked that out. We worked it out with the fact that it's only going to be at 50 feet. That was the intent of the plan. The plan was to be worked on and worked with, not to take the original $90,000 that we spent on having a company come in and want us to talk about it. It went straight to the public, and it went straight to social media. And I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong, what happened, but the most important thing to me is that whether or not it was a misquote, whether or not it wasn't a misquote, but it wasn't what was said on social media. The planning director did not make those comments. And when it was put down that she did make those comments, these were some of the comments that were directed at her. The planner should be fired. Had numerous people check that out, checks like that. I agree 100%, I agree. And the one that really gets me is I can't believe anyone would make that statement. Anyone that agrees with that should be removed from the committee. Well, she didn't make that comment. She didn't make the comment that was put on social media. So for her to be removed for something she didn't even say, I would have liked to have seen that corrected. Again, it's a plan that we all should be here, and I have even suggested tonight to work with. Let's sit down and work with it, and talk and get it right. Whether it's something we want to do or we don't want to do, and move on. And I'm all for putting this plan off. I'm all for putting it off. But I don't want to be here tonight. I don't want to be here tonight. But I think people have to defend our employees. If the employee said on social media what was said, I can understand it. But since it was a misquote and people demanded her job, I would have loved to have seen an apology or something that said, hey, she didn't say that, so I'm sorry. That didn't happen. I have respect for every person up here, and we're going to have to move on, and you guys have to make a vote on that tonight. But
I got a rebuttal to you.
okay.
You know, we did spend $90,000 on this master plan. You know, when someone presents you with their concept, you know, we spent $90,000. We thought we had a product. You know, I don't know what you guys heard. I know what I heard. I watched it. John Hemby knows what he heard. Things were said. This guy didn't just dream these statements up. You know, I just don't understand what the witch hunt's about. I just don't get it. That's all I got to say. God bless everyone.
All right. Well, go ahead, Tom.
Everybody's got to talk a lot. The first plan was put out for public. So when you say, well, you went out on social media and all that, well, the thing is the town published it. It was public. The planning board meeting was a public hearing. So if you're talking about something on anywhere, whether you email the town manager, where you put it on social media, whether, these are public things. And a lot of people agree, well, basically, yes, he did say what I posted. So, you know, and a lot of people that were at the meeting. Okay, so I messed it up a little bit. I apologize for messing it up a little bit, you know, but, you know, so I mean, hey, it is what it is. I gave my response. The fact is, you can read the plan, you can look at the transcript. Yeah, churches are not listed. It's not the environment they want. It's not what they want to put together in the downtown. It's not part of the hub, as he said. Okay, so there it is. That's the truth. All right, so I've said all I can say. So that's where it's at. I appreciate everybody listening and your consideration. I appreciate everybody that supported me on this.
I'd like for John Henry to wait for my comments toward the end or something. I'd really like to.
Dennis, that's enough. We've been through it, we've taught, you know, in all actuality, it's not about the plan, right? It's about what was said in social media. So
What was considered,
that's kind of, Todd, I don't want to be here, I really don't want to be here, but, with that being said, all said, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, sir. I brought this up, I'm willing to make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the resolution of censure as presented, sir.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Got Mr. McIntyre, Mr. Gay, Mr. Hall in favor, all against? Mr. Granberg and Mr. Barber against, it passes 3-2.
Mr. Mayor, would you like me to read the resolution of censure into the record, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate the time. State of North Carolina Indian Trail Resolution number 039-12-23. Whereas the state of North Carolina has set forth in NCGS 1608-86 has mandated that the Indian Trail Town Council adopts a code of ethics to guide the actions of council members in performance of their duties. And whereas the Town Council of Indian Trail has adopted a code of ethics that addresses, among other things, a council member's obligation to 1. Demonstrate the highest standards of personal integrity, truthfulness, honesty, and fortitude in all their public activities in order to inspire public confidence and trust in local government. The mayor and town council members should participate in establishing, maintaining, and enforcing, and should themselves observe high standards of conduct as the integrity and independence of the office may be preserved. Canon 2 of the Code of Ethics. Item number 2, be honest, patient, dignified, and courteous to those with whom they deal in their official capacity, and should require similar conduct of their staff and others subject to their direction and control. Canon 4, paragraph B3 of the Code of Ethics. Whereas, in addition to the Code of Ethics, the town board members are subject to the town's social media and communications policy that includes, among other things, the following guidelines. 1. Members shall not post any false or misleading material. 2. Members are personally responsible for content they post to social media and may be held liable for inappropriate or illegal or confidential postings. Whereas on or around August 17, 2023, Mayor Pro Tempore Todd Barber posted to his Elect Todd Barber Facebook page the following quote: "Churches are not part of the environment we want," end quote, and attributed that quote to an open quotes IT planner explaining proposed downtown master plan at core meeting, end quote. This inaccurate post triggered a significant outcry, public outcry, that, among other things, included calls to terminate the employment of the Indian Trail planner, who was falsely quoted and created significant public distrust of town staff. And whereas, after reviewing a recording of the meeting in question, council has confirmed that no Indian Trail planner made the statement that appeared in Mayor Pro Tempore Barber's Facebook page. And whereas, after being informed of the inaccuracy of the statement posted, Councilmember Barber removed the false post and replaced it on August 18, 2023 with a second quote amended to remove contextually significant information such as the incomplete quote was misleading and retained the negative impressions of the Indian Trail Planner and Planning Department, and further compounded public outcry and distrust of town staff. Whereas in light of the false and misleading nature of the Facebook postings made by Mayor Pro Tempore Barber and the immediate and negative impact the posting had on the public's perception of the Indian Trail Planner, the Planning Department, and town staff in general, the Town Council called a special meeting on Tuesday, August 29, 2023, to address Mayor Pro Tempore Barber's social media posts and possible violations of the Code of Ethics, Canon 2, Elected Officials Policy Guidelines, Sections 1 and 4, and the town's social media guidelines. Whereas Mayor Pro Tempore Barber took the opportunity to submit a verbal and written response during the special meeting of August 29, 2023, was provided all written materials supporting said allegations on August 30, 2023, and was further given the opportunity to offer a response at the regular meeting of Town Council on September 12, 2023. Now therefore, after due consideration, the Town Council of Indian Trail hereby resolves: 1. The Facebook post created by Mayor Pro Tempore Barber on or around August 17, 2023 was false and misleading, had a significant negative impact on public confidence of an individual Indian Trail employee, the Indian Trail Planning Department, and Indian Trail staff in general. 2. The Facebook post on or around August 17, 2023 was a violation of Canon 2 and Canon 4, Paragraph B, Section 3 of the Town Code of Ethics and the Town Social Media Guidelines. 3. The Facebook post created by Mayor Pro Tempore Barber on August 18, 2023 was intentionally misleading, had a significant negative impact on public confidence of an individual Indian Trail employee, the Indian Trail Planning Department, and Indian Trail staff in general. The Facebook post created by 4. The Facebook post created by Mayor Pro Tempore Barber on August 18, 2023 was a violation of Canon 2 and Canon 4, Paragraph B, Section 3 of the Town Code of Ethics and the Town Social Media Guidelines. Number 5, Mayor Pro Tempore Barber had the opportunity to retract and correct the false Facebook post on August 17, 2023, but instead, with his post of August 18, 2023, proceeded to exacerbate a misleading narrative that caused a breach in public trust of town government. 6. Council recognizes Mayor Pro Tempore Barber's right to advocate on behalf of his constituents and his conscience and to use social media platforms in those efforts. However, as an elected official of the town of Indian Trail, it is Mayor Pro Tempore Barber's duty to ensure that his written word demonstrate the high standards of truthfulness and honesty, as recognized in the North Carolina State Constitution, Section 14. Freedom of speech and the press are two of the great bulwarks of liberty, and therefore shall never be restrained, but every person shall be held responsible for their abuse. The Town Council of Indian Trail hereby censures Mayor Pro Tempore Barber for the conduct described herein and admonishes that he govern his future conduct so as to refrain from publicizing false and misleading statements related to the employees and affairs of the town of Indian Trail. This day, September 12, 2023.